Let's try one more time. Third time's a charm.
Oh my God. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Casually KANE9. This is the third time I've said this intro. We're just gonna keep the second one, maybe. No.
Now
we have to restart it. Really.
Okay, stop trying to make it something that's like you don't have to be at other podcasts.
I'm not.
Just be Casey. What's up, guys? I'm gonna eat some wheat thins today.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Casually KANE9, where we talk a little bit about dogs and a whole lot about a bunch of other stuff. I'm Casey.
And I'm Kait.
Was that a good one?
So good. I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's a solid D.
For those who've been listening since the beginning, I've gotten a little bit more comfortable doing that. So that means the first one was way below an F.
Yeah, but now it's like, how ridiculous can I make it versus just like, now I'm super comfortable. But hey,
that's just
we'll be
us,
surprised
though.
every week. We'll be surprised every week what Casey comes to the table with.
That's us.
Yeah. I have an update from the episode 2 when I talked about my eyebrows.
Yes.
I have to address something about my eyebrows.
Let's hear it.
Since then, I actually got nanoblading done. So I talked on it about how I've never gotten microblading on my eyebrows. I have now done nanoblading, which is basically the same thing as microblading, just minimal strokes for you folks.
Strokes for you folks.
That's what they call them. They call them eyebrow strokes. But anyways, I got them done. One of my clients is an amazing permanent makeup artist. So yeah, that's an update on my eyebrows, just in case anyone's now looking at them or saw that I posted it and is like, wait a second, I thought you said. Yes, I did say, because at that time it wasn't a thing. And then I think that just sparked my, I need to do this.
Phrase of the day, strokes for you folks.
Come to Casually KANE9 and hear about strokes. Wait, no, not like strokes, like people having strokes.
Let's end this. Let's end that right now.
Next
before
topic.
we go any further.
Yep. No one's having strokes. My eyebrows got some strokes.
Oh my gosh. So, wow, what a week we've had.
I have to say, like, when we're recording podcasts, I get slightly like, wait, it's always like a week behind. Mm-hmm. So when we're recording this right now, it's Mother's Day. So when you guys are listening to this, it's going to be like...
Shout out to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day.
Shout out to everyone that Mother's Day is great for, everyone that it's hard for.
Yep.
Everything in between. But yeah, so everyone's listening to this basically like a week and a half later than when we record it. But yeah, we've had a week. We had a really good week, but just like some weird
It was a great week.
Stuff happened too.
Bizarre schedule week.
Yeah, so we had a couple of days off in between crews of dogs. We have 2 of our new dogs in tomorrow, which will be a Monday for us. Shadow week starts, and it's also going to be a little bit of a different one where it's going to be 4 days of shadow students versus 3, because one person's coming a day early. So just getting prepped for that. But we had a couple of days off, and we went back to our hometown where we're both from to visit, celebrate Mother's Day early with our moms. And Casey, how's your sleep been?
My sleep has been terrible.
Because of your
daughters. Do you want me to
explain
why?
Because of your daughters.
Our last night back in our hometown, Birdie was not feeling well. And we were at my parents' place, and she just wasn't being herself. We could tell something was off.
She was just she seemed like really melancholy.
Yeah.
But she did like go on a hike that day. It's always like really busy when we're back there, so they are more tired typically. But like, she was acting extremely tired, and their house was warm because we were like cooking, and it was like
nice
almost
out.
80 degrees out and stuff. So it was like, it was warm in the house. So we just like chalked it up to that. And then we left.
Yeah. And then we left, and
our parents live 5 minutes apart from each other, mind you. Like, not even.
She proceeded to barf in the back seat on the way back to Kate's mom and dad's. And
like, we're talking
a huge amount.
You would have thought maybe like a Great Dane threw up in the back seat. Oh. No, it was little 40-pound BB. And poor thing, all of a sudden I hear, like, we heard her kind of gagging. And then, sorry for the details if that's making anyone nauseous.
It all came out.
But then we heard on my car seat cover her trying to bury it, like with her nose. And we're like, no, baby, no. And we get back, and she just looks like she feels so bad. We're like, come on out, girl. And
Well, first I thought that the car seat cover, it kind of doesn't always stay on the car seat. And so I thought she had done this on like the actual seat itself. So I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Like in the crevices of the leather. Because my seats have like
mess.
these tiny, tiny holes in them. Probably for like, I don't know, making sure cooling and stuff. And then, it's just the design. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, could you imagine like puke in there? So
no.
Long story short, Casey heard in the middle of the night her like heavily panting in her crate. And so he brought her out to go potty and had a little bit of like, again, still an upset tummy. They ended up like Casey slept down in my parents' living room with her. And they both were basically up all night. Yeah,
we were up. I heard her panting in her kennel like at 11:30 at night, and I was up with her till almost 3 a.m.
And then you guys didn't come back to the bedroom until like 5:30.
Yeah, and she at that point she was kind of past that sore stomach stage, and she was just really tired and exhausted from a sick night. So I was exhausted too because I couldn't see anything. I forgot my glasses.
Why'd that make you exhausted though?
But I was worried because I couldn't see what she was doing without getting right in her face. I knew she didn't want me to get right in her face if she's sick. Like I wouldn't want that. Mm-hmm. So I was just watching her, monitoring her. I was worried.
Yeah. And then last night I wake up, I had a great night's sleep last night. The room temperature was like perfect. Just one of those night sleeps that you're like, oh, this was the
window
best.
Was open. Yeah. It was nice.
Just like a really nice temperature. We had just cleaned our duvet on our bed, and Casey comes over to
why did we have to clean it?
Oh, because our cat puked on our bed. Literally the day we got back. It wasn't there when we were gone. It was when we got back. I'm thinking
she never pukes.
Never. Like I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, my cat pukes a lot or like coughs up hairballs. Ducky probably pukes 2 times a year, maybe. Yeah, this time it was on our bed. On our bed.
On our white duvet.
But I did say like it's better it was on the duvet that you can take off and wash and bleach versus like a white carpet that is really hard to clean.
Yeah.
So then we had that. So then last night I got a great night's sleep. Casey comes around to my side of the bed this morning when he's heading out to go take the dogs out. And he goes, "You're never going to believe this." And I'm immediately thinking like, that's what I'm waking up to. Like I was stirring and stuff. And like, he could tell I was getting up and I'm thinking when someone starts, "You're never going to believe this." What does your mind immediately go to? Like something wild. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Like I immediately go into worst case scenario, like got a text from someone that someone's hurt, something terrible. Cause his tone kind of was like that. And then he goes,
hold on. Let me tell this. Let me tell this. So I woke up out of my not so great slumber. And I felt something crawling on me in the dark. It was right on my, basically like right at the bottom of my neck. And I was like, what on earth? And I grabbed it in my thumb and my pointer finger and I walked to the bathroom because I didn't want to turn the light on in the room and be like, what the hell is this? I threw it in the toilet because I thought I knew what it was, and I was right. It was a tick. Ugh. I had a tick on me. I found it at 3 a.m, and I flushed that thing down the drain. And then I was weirded and grossed out for the next like 2 hours in bed. I felt like things were crawling on me. I felt like insects were on me. I felt like ticks were all over me.
They are wild this year.
Bad.
I had one crawling on my shirt yesterday. We've taken so many off the dogs. It's been insane. Like now I'm
For those who don't know, we live in a kind of a woodsy lot, and it wasn't that cold of a winter, supposedly.
What? What? Says who?
I don't know. I was
cold
feel like
all
I read
winter.
that.
I was literally cold all winter.
So the ticks have been bad. We pulled numerous amounts of ticks off of Rhodey already. Birdie doesn't get a whole lot of them, but we'll find them right on Rhodey's face.
Yeah, they like always go for the face.
We usually get them before they're like dug in, but
yeah. Oof.
Anyways. That's what's new.
We're talking about throw up, ticks, and eyebrows.
It's just reality.
One other thing that I want to talk about briefly before we jump into our main topic is we are now on the family vacation version of Jersey Shore.
Oh, yeah.
And when we first talked about Jersey Shores, obviously our first episode, and I kind of was like ragging on Mike the situation. I just have to say we watched last night the episode where he had his arraignment.
Where he gets sentenced.
Oh, when he gets sentenced. I didn't know there was a difference for tax evasion and stuff like that. And it was actually really hard to watch. And because like he did turn his life around so much, and you can genuinely see it. I know, again, it's a TV show, and I get that there's probably so much context behind that and stuff like that, but like you genuinely can see the difference in him. And I found myself like actually teary-eyed last night while we were watching it, because like his fiance at the time, now wife, was like truly his rock, so supportive.
Yeah.
And I liked that they showed that aspect of them, because like, I don't know, we all look back at it when we were watching it in early high school, like just these crazy partiers, like they were in their young, like mid-20s, like who didn't have crazy times back then and stuff like that. And I'm definitely all about like, you know, your choices that you make are super important, that you like are accountable for them. But like also I really believe in that people can make strides. And if I didn't believe this, I couldn't see a change in like dogs too. So I think that's what also like, or change in owners and how they live life with their dogs. So watching that, and I think about like watching Jersey Shore, Mike the Situation had me in my feels, but like they're humans too. So I have to give a little bit of a shout out. That's where we're at with Jersey Shore.
Shout out to Mike the Situation, bro.
Big Daddy Stitch or Sitch.
BDS is in the house.
Yeah.
No, it was so cool to see him, turn his life around and get sober, and then have to revisit that old stage in his life where he very much wanted to move past. He was very accepting of like the sentence. He knew what he did was wrong, but it's just sad to see when you could tell somebody's turned their life around and then they still have to do that. So,
and like someone's turned their life around, not just for like hoping to persuade a different verdict, but to actually want to be a better person. So anyways, I thought that was like, I'm enjoying this season of Jersey Shore, because I think it's more realistic to,
they're all growing up.
They're adults now. They're not, mid-20s, where it's like, at that point we all felt like, adults, and we're still obviously very young, but a lot changes from like 25 to 30. Like, I feel like that was my biggest change personally. So you obviously see that in a lot of other people too.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying Jersey Shore Family Vacation.
Yes. When we tell people we're watching it, that like they like think that we're ridiculous. Like when we mentioned it to Casey's parents. And,
we're so into it.
Yeah. And his dad was like, what the heck?
You guys watch that stupid show?
Why are you watching that? I'm like, give it a chance.
Anyways,
what's our topic today, host?
Topic is something that we see a lot when the owners come back into the situation. Oh,
how's that for a transition?
Nice.
Real quick, I don't know if we've ever said this, but I don't know what topics Casey is bringing when we come here.
Yes.
So I'm always like, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat like you guys. So what is it?
The power of association.
Okay.
With, what was I going to say? Owners and
their dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Like, it's tough to see, and it's tough to train.
And it's honestly tough to talk about sometimes, because like examples that I'll give, like if owners that have either worked with us or are going to, or have worked with other trainers, like this isn't to make people feel bad. It's just hoping to bring as much like awareness to kind of like, there's always going to be a power of association regardless. But when we see such an unhealthy response to an owner being back in an equation, it's really, really challenging to see. And it's challenging to talk an owner through it, because they see, so let me give an example. An owner comes back, we're starting the walk, because that's how we start all of our go home sessions. And the dog, starts jumping up at their owner, or, wanting to, be crazy. All of that is totally normal stuff. Most dogs do that. And then we get into a rhythm, we get going. But it's when we see the shift go from like excitement to trembling, heavy panting, excessive whining, not being able to really even hear or listen to anything that their owner is trying to communicate with them, while the dog's been doing all the things with us for, call it 2 weeks straight now, if not more. So seeing like the dog almost go into a state of like shock and overstimulation in a way that's not just like a dog being excited. Like, you guys know the difference of a dog, they're butt's wiggling. They can barely like contain themselves. They're trying not to jump, but they like want to greet their owner. That's one thing. I'm talking about like, and the dog just trembling terribly for an extended period of time where it's like almost hard to get past. Seeing that, an owner's brain might immediately go to what the heck is going on, where my brain immediately goes to, I know exactly what's going on. Your dog is used to the second you being in their presence. Oh, there's my little baby, touching them, coddling them, paying every little bit of attention to them, that when we are not, or we're paying attention to them in a different way of asking them to complete something, to be calmer, it's like the dog cannot function in that moment. And it's really, really tough to see sometimes. And I will say, most often with our go homes and stuff like that, when the owners come back in the situation, we work through some messiness and then we move on. But there are some very, very intense situations, I guess you could call it, or like prime examples that I'm like, wow.
Some that are more dramatic.
Yeah, wow. We
that
really
are
gotta,
shocking to us even.
Yeah, and once I take a step back and think about it, they don't totally surprise me, because I'm like, okay, this dog is, has had so many more years of patterning. They are, coming to us because of insecurities or reactiveness, or there's usually more, but I've had very, very young dogs, and their owner comes back and it's just the same. So it's just really like per dog basis. But the thought of this is, but then let me talk about a really positive experience. And I know that she will not mind me sharing this, is, recently Penny, the mini dachshund that we had, only 9 months old, and her owner literally had been following us, had our puppy ebook, followed pretty much every recommendation I ever gave her until she brought Penny to training. And the association of her when she came back was one of the healthiest responses I've seen from a dog ever.
Yeah.
She was excited. Her little tail didn't stop, but she was ready to soak it all in. And yes, I know that like it could be a Penny thing. Like every dog is individual, but I truly, truly believe and know that it had so much to do with the relationship that owner had with her prior. Yep. Was there pushy moments? Of course. Was there, things where it's like she was making mistakes? Of course. My own dogs would do the same, but it was just like so balanced, so healthy, a great level of excitement and happiness, but right to being like, cool, let's do this. Like, what are we learning today? It wasn't like, I need you to touch me, otherwise I'm going to explode. So when we share this kind of stuff, it's kind of more or less for you to take a step back and think about like, what do I want for me and my dog long term? And when you are shaping patterns with your dog, and just be super mindful of the behaviors that you reinforce. And it's okay if you're not doing everything perfectly, because you're not going to. Like, none of us are going to do everything perfectly. Yeah. But if you see the same pattern with something, you come home and it's immediately spiked and you're immediately feeding into that with your dog, don't expect, like, say they go to training, or when they come home, or if you go to just like private sessions, that they're going to be able to like clock into training time. It's just not like that. It needs to be that we're looking at the dog as a whole. We're looking at the relationship as a whole. And you are such a huge component of how your dog views you, the good, the bad, the ugly. So really thinking about, what is it that my dog, say you bring your dog to boarding. How does your dog respond to you when you get back? And just these are all rhetorical questions. Or you go to stand up and walk out of the room. What does your dog do? If they're on place, are they immediately like, where's mom going? Or, whoever, where are they going? Or if they are not, say that they free roam, are they immediately following you? All of those kinds of things. It's like, think about every little thing that you do and how your dog responds to it. And know that when you come back into the equation, even if your dog has just worked so hard and the trainers worked so hard for so many weeks, it will immediately be what is the dog's association to the owner?
Yep.
And we will see it within the first couple of minutes. And some are really, really easy to work through, and some are really, really challenging. And those are the ones where my owners get to experience a little bit of my tough love, because it's like, I get it. I get that it's hard to see, your dog having a certain response, or like you just want to immediately embrace every little aspect of them. But that's where I really have to talk about, like, okay, now that I'm seeing this with you and your dog, this has to be your game plan if you want to see lasting change back home. So sometimes I don't even know what I'm necessarily going to tell the owners until they come back into the equation, because I experience the dog so differently, because their association to me or to Casey is so different. And that's another thing, is like they build associations to us so quickly as well, where we have to work through some stuff of them like getting way too clung to me, or seeing Casey as like fun guy. So it's really, really apparent that dogs create patterns so quickly, and some more than others. But yeah, it's so strong. We see some crazy stuff. And we work through all of it. And it's like, I know it's not easy for the dog. It's not easy for the owner. And realistically, it's not easy for me either, because when I see a dog almost act as if the dog I haven't been working with, I'm like, wow, how do we navigate this? And you've seen it a few times, especially because you always do a pass by. You don't see the whole go home, because you're also in the kennel room making sure the other dogs are good. But you'll see some that you're like, that didn't even seem like that dog.
Yeah, there have been a few dogs where it's just like, it's almost like there's a switch that's flipped. As soon as that person comes back into the equation, they just like turn into like a different, completely different dog. And that's not a lot of dogs. There've been a few dogs that have been like that, but it's like, it's really eye-opening for the trainers to see that, because it's like, wow, the power of association with this dog is very high. And that's challenging to work through. Very challenging.
Yeah. And some things that like we do with our own dogs is like, don't get me wrong, when we see our dogs, we're happy and excited to see them.
Yeah.
When we get back from a trip or something, we go to pick them up. But like, our dogs don't go, and like try to jump all over us or freak out. They're just like wiggling up to us and stuff. And so we're able to engage with them right away. But that was because of all of the stuff that we did in the beginning to make sure that we didn't create an unhealthy association to us. We want it to be where it's like, hey, the second mom or dad comes in the house, I don't need to be in my crate demanding to be let out. They just literally, we walk in and it's silent. And it's just like, we go down.
Sometimes we forget them down there for a few minutes.
I don't, because I'm immediately going, hey dad, come get me. And I like start talking for B.
Well, if we get like back from the gym or something like that, we have our routine where we go and, we're usually coming back in the morning where we need to go make breakfast or whatever. And they'll just chill down in their kennels, and they'll be ready when we're ready. Yeah,
and the nice thing about it is, since we've created that kind of pattern for them, we go down, we let them out right away, and we're immediately like, hi, bubbles, like immediately giving them attention, immediately giving them love, all of that stuff, because we can. And I'm not saying that we've always been able to do that. When we first adopted Birdie, she was a nightmare in the crate. Casey didn't even like her, so I did everything with her. That's for a different story for a different day.
Yeah, we should talk. Yeah. I need to write that down.
Casey was like, thought she was gross and didn't like her.
For the record, I love her.
Now.
Yes. Yeah. So but we'll dig into that in a different episode.
Yeah, because she was a foster. She wasn't like ours. Anyways, yeah, we'll get to that story one day. But, and then like with Rhodey, I also lived with him solo for quite some time. So like I had to work through all of his like antics in the crate and whining and crying and getting calls at work that I forget about this now that I think about it. I got calls at work when me and him lived in an apartment that he was screaming in his crate. Can you even picture?
From who? Like a neighbor or
a neighbor?
Oh, okay.
So we had friends that lived and they were at home. They're like, hey, just want to let you know, like I hear him down in his kennel. I'm like, now when I think about that, I forget that he was like that.
Yeah.
But so I had to do so much.
A lot of practice though.
Walking in, ignoring him, not getting him out till he's calm. And now we don't have to do any of that. Yes, we're still like very mindful of like small little things of like, hey, let's not just rush out in the morning and chase the squirrels. Dad, let's Rhodey, whoa, at his squirrels in the morning.
He lets out one big woof.
Yeah, whoa. So anyways, our dogs have their associations with us as well. And not all of them are perfectly healthy either. Like, I don't want you to think that I've done everything perfect. I think I throw myself under the bus enough about that, though. So it's like, there's things where it's like, I get tough situations are hard for you to kind of shift the way that you've patterned things in the past, but them seeing you and being back in your presence, even if it's been 3 weeks, even if it's been 2 weeks, you can work on how that response is. And that's truly one of the easiest to start working on, to change. But for the human brain, it might be the most challenging. But your dog can change that pattern much quicker than maybe like how they are when they see a dog on a leash and, reactivity and stuff like that. So just be super mindful of your interactions with your dogs, because it matters. And if you think that like, this doesn't really matter that much, it probably does. And sometimes it's just little adjustments that you need to make.
I just had to write down a thought I had for a future podcast that will be an interesting one to talk about. I'm not going to tell you it because you don't want to know.
Okay.
But just you saying like your ending piece kind of sparked an idea.
Cool. All right. I like it.
So what kind of questions do you have for me?
Let me look. So I have a few. Actually, can
I have a sip of this, by the way?
You literally said you didn't want
I just want one. Just one sip, please.
Guys.
I don't want a whole one.
Okay,
I'll be shaky.
There's literally only 3 sips left, so
just
don't.
A little one. Thanks.
This is what he does too with my water. He will go to reach for my Stanley, which he makes fun of, the fact that I have 2 of them. And as he's reaching for it, he goes, "Can I have a sip?" Like, what's the point of asking? You know what I mean? Like,
I just feel like it's polite to say the words.
So what if I say no? It's mid to your mouth. Like,
I'll probably do it anyways.
Exactly. So just stop asking.
I don't make fun of it a whole lot. You put it in convenient spots where I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty right now.
Yeah, you should bring a water with you everywhere so that you always stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, go.
All right. What would be the current soundtrack to your life?
Ooh.
And I want you to sing it.
What?
What would be the current soundtrack to your life?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Current soundtrack to my life?
Like,
what would be yours?
I have 2 that I could bring to the table. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know all the words.
Nice.
So, Survivor.
Is that by like
Destiny's Child?
Destiny's Child.
Which I don't know why that one, because like there's nothing to like survive, but kind of like in a good way. It's an everyday, you gotta...
Everyday grind.
No, I hate that.
Yeah, no.
Grind. I hate it so much.
Reverse.
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, that one just came to my head. My next song would be, "It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot." Want to know why? It's not because I want to take off all my clothes.
Let's hear why.
Because it's getting warmer out. And I realize I'm a delicate flower. Like, I start sweating when it's like 72 degrees out. And I'm not complaining. I love it so much. But it's getting hot in her. So take off. Those are my 2.
You also just heard that song while you were on the Peloton bike this morning.
And then I realized that was a perfect song for my life currently. Because I even walked upstairs this morning. Well, it's not this morning, but this afternoon, after being down in the kennel room, and I'm like, "Oh, it's stuffy in here." And you're like, "Yeah, I had the heat on for a little bit." I'm like, "What in the heck?" You're like, "I was cold."
I know a song that's in my head. I don't know if it's like the soundtrack to my life right now, but you know how I always have songs that are in my head?
Yes.
It's a Hardy song.
Sing it.
So for those who don't know, I am obsessed with the country rock artist Hardy, Hardy.
Okay, this isn't a plug for Hardy. Just sing your lifestyle song or your soundtrack to your life. He just took please back up from the microphone.
Baby, don't you think about getting out of here?
No.
Get you out of this car. Yeah, get to switching gears.
You see, that is not your voice at all.
Take my Chevy to the... In my Chevy, there's a Yeti in the back full of beer.
Okay, so first off...
Something in the dark, get your dirt road on.
Okay.
Whoa. Everybody knows how it goes. Get you in the moonlight. Everybody listen to this song. It's called Radio Song by Hardy. It'll throw you for a loop. It's awesome.
I just feel like that has nothing to do with your lifestyle. You don't drive a Chevy. You don't have a Yeti. You don't drink beer. Like, can you please pick one
I drink a little bit of beer. Not often.
Only if literally someone is going and is like going to a brewery and another person gets one. You're just literally only socializing. You would never do it.
Yeah, I only do it socially. Like,
I know, but you would never be like, I could go for a beer right now. You'd want a whiskey sour old fashioned or whatever it's called.
Oh, whiskey old fashioned sour.
Okay, let your soundtrack to your life right now. Come on.
No, that's it. I don't know. What song were you thinking of for me?
I wasn't thinking of one. I just thought maybe it would like be something more. It's fine.
This ain't a radio song. Bam, 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 bam,
okay.
bam.
All right. Next question. That has nothing to do with you, but that's fine. Which would you prefer as your roommate? A warthog or an emu?
You already did this one.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I feel like we talked about this.
No, we didn't.
Okay, I'd rather have an emu.
Did you hear this somewhere else?
Maybe.
Why would you rather have a giant bird as your roommate over a warthog?
I don't know what a warthog looks like.
I'm gonna look it up.
Sounds like it's some sort of pig family animal.
Yeah.
And pigs are dirty.
Okay, but a giant.
And they poop everywhere.
A giant. Oh my gosh! Look at a warthog.
Yeah,
it's a Timon. No, a puma. Pumbaa. Timon and Pumbaa, right? Pumbaa.
Yeah.
I would take Pumbaa as.
Let me see that thing.
As a
Look at that, dude.
Roommate way over an emu because emus are giant birds and they peck at you. And
that's
they're
an
fast.
ostrich.
Emus as well.
I need to show you my video of the day.
Anyways, next question. What smells better? Fresh cut grass or toast in the morning? Those are two of your favorite smells.
Toast in the morning. Toast in the morning is year round. And it's
right.
So
it's year
good.
round. So wouldn't you think? So I always try to like make you answer opposite of what you answer. If it's all year round, doesn't like fresh cut grass seem like special?
That's very hard for me to choose. But
well, it wasn't that hard. You immediately said it. Fresh or toast. Toast in the morning.
I love morning smells. I just think like, especially if you mix, I know you didn't say it, but like if you mix coffee in there with toast, it's like, oh my Lord, that smells so good.
oh my Lord. Hey, do you remember?
Can I play my video of the day? I'm going to put it, here, you put it in your microphone.
Well, what's your video of the day?
It's personal. I don't even know where you're sitting at.
It says, not Quali's first laugh scared those
Kawhi.
reporters.
Kawhi. His name's Kawhi.
What did I say?
Quali. So bad.
Wait, I don't know who this is. This is
okay, this is an NBA player named Kawhi Leonard, and he has a laugh that is super funny, and somebody made a little video out of it.
Oh my gosh.
It's personal. I don't even know where you're sitting at.
That's his actual laugh.
Easy.
Kawali.
Well, I don't know his name. That's how it looks like it's spelled.
And then this one. One more. This is a video, guys.
No one
of
can see the videos.
Somebody doing like hiring like a Grinch person for their family Christmas. By the way, I would never do this to my kids. I think this would scar them for life.
Rhodey would attack him.
Look at how into it this guy is.
I've seen this video.
I mean,
that
this guy,
poor child is traumatized.
This guy
my God,
takes the tree, throws it out of their living room, Christmas tree.
Gosh, and tackles
He's taking
the
the
child.
kids. He's taking the presents.
Next question.
No.
Yeah, I have a question. Or no, this is something I have to ask you. Do you remember when you said this line to B?
Let's hear it.
It's going to be like wearing a poopy diaper, B. It's not going to be comfy for a bit.
What? When did I say that? I said
Literally,
that?
you said it, and I had to write it down immediately. Why do you know?
I was having a conversation with my dog, and I said that?
We were driving back to where we're from, and Birdie was sitting on my lap because we had a whole commotion in the back seat of trying to fit a piece of furniture, and both the dogs didn't fit in the back. So she
Okay, yeah, this is another thing to add about our week that we had.
Bodily fluids. I'm so over them.
Yeah, so say it.
So Birdie could not fit. We had to put some of our seats down, and she was all perplexed because Rhodey laid down in the back seat and just took over the entire back seat. And so I invited Birdie up on my lap. And as I was pulling her up to the front, I was kind of like pulling her from her little armpits, and she gave a little yipe. And she's a very sensitive little girl. So as she yiped, she blew her anal glands a little bit.
In our car.
In my car.
Just started our trip, by the way.
And I didn't notice it until I put her on my lap. And all of a sudden I'm like, "Hut." There's no worse smell.
Kate's sniffer is very sensitive too. So she smelled it and she's like, oh my Lord.
I was like, I smell anal glands. And Birdie has done this before. And I knew immediately. So Birdie and I were very uncomfortable on our way home. It smelled. She's 40 pounds and she's pretty petite, but she's not terrible. Like, she's not a lap dog, and she's on my lap.
Too big.
And so Casey looks over and is like worried more about B being uncomfortable versus I'm underneath the dog and I smell like anal glands, and goes, "It's going to be like wearing a poopy diaper, B. It's not going to be comfy for a bit." I'm just like,
wait, did you have her say something to me first? 'Cause I feel like
I was like, "Oh, Dad, this isn't comfy."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. So I had to immediately write that down.
What a trip it was.
Literally, it was only a couple of days, and I also wanted to throw a piece of a machine at you or whatever it was.
Yeah. We went to our local Planet Fitness by where our parents live, and I think I was in a funny mood or something like that. And I kept getting in Caitlin's ear, and she said she was going to throw the whole Smith machine at me, jokingly. But so I died laughing.
He's literally just on one, and I'm trying to do my hip thrusts, and he's just being irritating, to be completely honest. I think he's like,
I was doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's funny. Like, that's kind of how we are at the gym, is we kind of like, I don't know, not poke fun of each other, but kind of like
goof around a little bit.
Yeah, goof around. And he's really on one. And so, I don't know, I told him, I'm like, "Hey, can you put some more weight on this?" And then he's like in my ear or like hanging over my head as I'm like on the bench, just doing something. And I said to him, "I want to throw this entire," what did I say?
"I'm going to throw this whole weight system at you."
Yeah, I want to throw this whole weight system at you.
I looked around, I'm like, this thing is huge.
Yeah. I just felt like that just rolled off the tip of my tongue at that moment. Yeah. I just want to throw this entire weight system at you.
Okay, so before we end this episode, because this has been a good episode, not because, but
because we're having fun.
I was just thinking about it's been a fun episode.
Okay, good.
We need to do our peeve and our highlight of the week.
Okay, go ahead.
So my peeve, not so much this week because we weren't here the whole week, but on any other given week, our FedEx person leaves. She's already shaking her head, but this is like,
I already know what it is.
Yeah, he leaves packages in front of the garage door, and our front door is 10 steps away. And it's really irritating to me. I don't know why you say it's not that irritating to you, but I would think like if I did have to commute every day to work and then come back home, I would have to get out of my car, grab the package, put it inside, then get back in my car to pull in the garage rather than just like, it's just a pet peeve.
That's fine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're entitled to your pet peeves.
And
I just don't see, again, it's just like some of my peeves probably would never bother you. Yeah. Like that just doesn't bother me at all because I just am like, oh, I just go grab it from the front of the garage.
And I've tried to move past it. We've lived here for almost 2 years now, but every time I see it, I just do this like.
I think it's also a peeve because we've seen that the guy seems like he's looking for the easiest route for everything. Yeah. I think it's also because of that. Like, wants to pull as close as possible when our driveway is like not that easy to like pull into. We've seen him like toss a package before. Like, he's just not the most go-getter type of person. So I think that's also why it peeves you a little bit more.
Definitely like, not a go-getter.
It would take 5 extra steps to bring it to the front door. I feel like if he was a really like go-getter type of personality and you could tell he like, I don't know, didn't want to chuck our packages, you would feel differently about it.
It's clearly not going to change. It hasn't changed. So I'm just
Okay.
I'm just working past it. And then my highlight of the week. Oh, do you want to do
I'll
your
do my peeve.
Yeah, you do your
I'll do my
peeve.
peeve. So my peeve.
By the way, guys, she taps me on the leg when she wants me to divert talking
well, I don't
or
want to
stop.
cut you off, but I want to.
There it is.
Yeah, I did it again. But I just want to be like, hey, I'll do mine, and then you can do yours.
Go ahead, do yours.
Okay, so this peeve actually really got me going. Not in a good like wait, it got me peeved off even
All right,
more.
let's hear it.
Oh my gosh. So we were again driving back to our parents' house, and we were listening to one of my favorite podcasts, and I listen to this weekly and I really enjoy it. I love the banter. It's just like conversation as well. It's not like there's no main topic. It's always just like, I wonder what they're going to be talking about this week. And I was so irked that I'm like, I should just turn this off. But I'm also trying to think about like, okay, Kate, why are you feeling so irked? Like I don't know why I do this. Like I can just like let myself feel irked. But sometimes I'm like, I want to find out why I'm feeling that and try to manage my thoughts around it to try to come from a space of understanding with everything. I really try to do that. But this one, I was just irritated. So these two gals were talking about how one of them has this occurring thing of her dog ending up at the vet for the same thing. It's eating stuff it should not eat, and it's getting an obstruction. This is not the first time. And she's talking about how we are doing everything. We have a safe room for our dog. We pick everything up. We have locks on our garbages.
They play reggae music.
Yeah, we play reggae music in the safe room. Want to know the only thing they don't do is crate the dog. And I'm annoyed by it, not because I feel like every single person needs to use a crate. Whatever you want to use, whatever you don't want to use is fine. But not when it comes to the fact that you have to spend thousands of dollars. Your dog just got 6 staples and
had to have surgery.
Had to have surgery and ended up with 6 staples because it swallowed a piece of plastic. Meanwhile, a $50 crate, creating that to be your dog's safe space would mean that you've got still thousands of dollars in your bank account. Your dog is healthy, and like that could have killed the dog. Like that's where it's like, and I know that would crush the owner. Like I'm not saying like, I know that this is the last thing that they wanted, but my peeve is we're doing everything that we can. And I want to say, no, you aren't.
Yeah. No.
Like, but not in a way of like, no, you aren't, like idiots. Not at all.
Well, it's just
I want to be like,
I can't believe you don't see the other side of this. Do you realize how much time you're spending driving to the vet, the emergency vet, all the bills, the loss of sleep at night?
And this isn't just this person. Like I know this happens all of the time. I've had dogs come to training that's pretty much why they're coming to training. And I'm like, okay, we got to change our life. Like this isn't I think the peeve when I come down to it is it's their conversation around it was also, doesn't the dog learn? And I want to say, doesn't the owner learn?
Yep.
Where it's like, no, a dog does not learn that eating plastic is what created these 6 staples in my stomach. The dog has no concept of that. The dog is like, this was fun. This wasn't fun. Those two situations were completely apart for the dog.
And that's where the human needs to be the leader.
Yeah. So that was my peeve of the week, was listening to that, because I was kind of like, they've been talking about more of because it's also like the weather. So more people are going out with their dogs and stuff. So they've been talking about like on leash interactions, and they both have dogs. And again, they both are probably great dog owners. I'm sure their dogs live very happy lives, but it's just things like that I'm like, that could have been
It just makes
avoided.
you like shake your head. It's like,
what?
Why, guys? Why?
I cannot imagine spending that much money. And I'm not saying my dog's never eaten anything. One time when we first got Birdie, we had blankets in her crate. She can handle blankets now, but we didn't realize that in the back of her crate, little BB's chewing holes in the blankets. And all of a sudden we see that she's pooping blood. We have to go to the vet to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. What does the vet do?
And the vet pulls poopy blanket. From her butt. And I'm like, okay,
we're like,
now we know.
And we were like, oh,
we didn't even see that she was chewing on the blanket. So it's like, again,
but we learned,
and we took blankets out until she could handle it again. And now we don't eat blankets, but
I remember listening to that. It was like, guys,
Yeah. I was like feeling warm. I was like truly upset about it for them and for the dog. Like I'm just like,
well, you just think about like all the lengths again that they've gone to do this, but not kennel.
Yeah. Okay. What's your highlight of the week, hon?
Highlight. Ooh.
Highlight. My highlight of the week.
If you guys are watching us on YouTube right now, you see these interactions. How we do
this is every day.
This is totally normal.
I love this. I think it's great because it gives me
how did it sound like again?
Highlight. He literally stumbles on a word or like
I've got a big tongue.
Ew. No, I think that your brain is working faster than your mouth. So sometimes you think you're already saying it.
I have ADD.
No, ADHD. Honey.
ADHD.
Yeah. But you are very
self-diagnosed, by the way.
Shut up. You do this all the time with words, and I literally catch you every single time.
Okay, my highlight?
Yeah. Highlight of the week.
Highlight. My highlight. There we go again.
We are not going to get this out.
My highlight of the week is seeing all the leaves pop out on the trees. It is so nice. You can just feel summer is here. Like it's about here. So.
He talks about it 17 times a day.
She rolls her eyes at me. But it is so cool to see like these trees come back alive. She's just like staring blank faced. She's like doesn't appreciate it as much as I do. I don't think.
I love it so much. It brings me so much joy.
Oh,
I think I feel less excited about it because you talk about it 17 times a day. Wow. Hon, look at that.
I just want to live in the moment.
Yeah, I love it for you. Okay, my highlight of the week.
Yeah, give me your highlight.
Okay. I mean, it's so cliche, but seeing my parents every time we go back. Oh, I think my highlight is honestly how my parents are with Rhodey. It's so funny. It's so naughty, but it's so pure. Like, he, again, has a small circle, and he loves them, and they love him so much. Like, you can just tell they all are just, like, stupidly, adorably in love with each other. So they justify a lot of his things. Like, they don't experience him the way we have or the way we do. And I'm okay with that, to be completely honest. I'm like, good. They have such a soft spot in their heart for him, but they listen to our rules to an extent. Like, he knows his spot at their house. They're very good with him. They have him wait before eating and all that stuff, but it's so cute. Like, my dad's always like, I'm gonna take Rhodey out for a potty break. I'm gonna take him out to go play ball. I'm like, okay. And he has Rhodey sit at the door, but as he's opening the door, he's going, okay, break. Like, as he's opening the door and like totally revving Rhodey up. So like you hear the person like, like go.
And
like,
we can see Rhodey's body language. He runs out and he's on alert. He's like
alert. Like, he's like, what are we going out here for? Yeah. So it's really cute. And it's a fine environment for him to be like that and stuff. But my mom, again, love her to death. But out on their deck, my mom's adorable. She has these two squirrels that are eating out of her bird feeder. So she just decided to name them Earl and Licorice, because one's a really gray, so like Earl Grey, and Licorice because the other one is black. And my mom appointed Rhodey as, what did she call it? Guard dog with Earl.
Yeah, we're like, oh boy, so he doesn't need that title. I'm like,
he does not need this title, Mom. So Casey's in the front room of my parents' house working on videos. I wasn't home, and my mom is going to open the door and goes, go get Earl, Rhodey, go get Earl. I'm like, Mom, you are actually going to be so sad if he catches Earl, because he could, like, easily.
Yeah, and he goes out there guns blazing, and he's woofing, and he's all alert and everything. And then after Earl jumps off the deck, good job, bud.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm listening to the other room. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Okay.
But it's really cute to see, because it's like totally, some of it's totally naughty and stuff.
We
and like,
totally let him get away with it.
Yeah, because he just,
Grandma and Grandpa's.
he loves them. They love him. He does really well for them.
Yep.
And it's a couple of days, and that's where it's like,
and he comes back into his routine,
and he's exhausted.
But he's ready to get back into his routine too.
Yep. And he doesn't like get home and give us a hard time or anything like that. No. He's immediately like right back into his routine. So it's like, it's no big deal. And that's where I always tell my owners of like, you can have your cake and eat it too. Just be consistent with your dogs at home. But that's definitely a highlight. It's obviously seeing them, my parents just in general, but seeing like their interactions with both of our dogs, but especially Rhodey.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We need to end this because I feel like
you have to poop?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No. I feel like we're going way over on our podcast. We initially told people like 30 minutes. This one's going to be probably close to 50
That's
minutes.
okay, though. I have to be honest, because I obviously listen to ours. I like listening to podcasts when I'm working out, and I had to change the podcast the other day when I listened to our episode 2. So it's just my personal preference. So
maybe we'll take these like to the 45-minute mark.
I just think we just do what feels good.
Yeah.
Just
no time frame.
Remember, we live in the moment, Casey. You were just talking about how you want to live in the moment.
I was saying that
about the trees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
bring it home.
Yep. What?
Bring it home.
Bring it home. What does that mean?
Let's wrap it up, man.
Okay, guys.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Is this is the fourth one?
This
right?
4th episode.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us for our 4th episode. If you would like to be a part of our podcast, so we can ask Katie some questions,
or Casey, give me some weird ass would you rather's, please.
Yeah. I made a form on our podcast page on our website.
You
so
did.
go to that form. I will receive any questions that you have, and we'll talk about it on
Guys,
here.
please, he will be so excited when he gets those in his email.
Yeah.
So go give them to him. If you want me to ask something to Casey and you don't want him to hear it, message me on Instagram and just put podcast. Just like tell me that. Well, just let me know what like say something about like Casually KANE9. Would you rather's something. Make him good.
All right.
Make him uncomfortable. It's so funny to watch him squirm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
Thanks, guys. Subscribe.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Rate 5 stars only.
Yeah.
Only.
No, just be honest.
No. Don't be like 1 star. I hate it. Then why are you listening? That's my response.
Yeah.
Like if you made it this far, you better give me a 5 star.
Thanks. Oh my gosh.
Bae. Okay, Casey needs to go take a nap because he can't speak anymore.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Nailed it.